Understanding the balance of macronutrients such as proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, and how they impact our health and weight management is essential for making informed dietary choices.
Yeah, we also know that calories play a major role in weight loss and maintenance, but how can we navigate this without falling for common misconceptions, right? So to help us break it all down, we spoke with Dr. Pranam Kokilakumar. Take a look.
Dr. Pranam, thanks for joining us. Again, appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me back, guys.
Thank you.
We're always talking about nutrition, especially at the beginning of the year here. So let's talk about the calories. And everybody's counting them right now. Just explain the role of these macronutrients. I mean, because we're talking proteins, fats, all the et cetera here that people will see on those caloric and food information.
Yeah.
Sheets.
So, Cliff, you said the bad C word and the bad M word. So, no one wants to hear that, especially if they come to the doctor's office.
Oh, I thought, okay, good. I thought the censors were going to get me.
Oh. So, long story short, calorie is just a unit of measurement as to how much energy is released when the food, drink is pretty much digested in your body. And that's the 1,000-mile view of what it is. We don't need to get lost in the details of it. But when it comes to macronutrients, we're looking at 3 different main macros. You're looking at your proteins, your fats, and your carbs, just like you said, Cliff. And depending on the macro determines the amount of calories per gram density. So 1 gram of protein equates to about 4 calories. Same thing with carbs. 1 gram of carbs is 4 calories. 1 gram of fat, however, is about 9 calories. And for all you fun people out there, 1 gram of alcohol is approximately 7 calories. So, but here's where things get a little interesting. This is where the whole debate of not all calories are equal type situation. At the end of the day, a calorie is a mathematical unit of measurement, but different macronutrients have something called a different thermic effect, meaning your body expends more energy to digest certain macronutrients as opposed to others. So fats, very easily digestible, minimal processing time, very quick or relatively easy absorption, I should say, versus protein on the other end, you have to invest a lot of energy to break it down and get it to its components that are easily utilized. So when you eat a 100-calorie protein meal versus a 100-calorie fat meal, the net effect is actually very different.
Okay.
You're working more with the protein than you are with the fat.
Exactly. But here's to say that you shouldn't give one macronutrient more importance than the other. Each of them play a very important role in your body between energy regulation, muscle protein synthesis, cholesterol creation, and so much more.
Okay, so Dr. Pranam, so how do you approach the topic of calorie intake with your patients, particularly those who may have a difficult time understanding how calories relate to their weight loss or the maintenance goals?
Absolutely. So first, I try to get an understanding of where their nutritional education is. The majority of the patients that come to me don't have like the education of a nutritionist or a dietitian, and I don't expect them to. Right. In fact, some of them don't even know like the basic either food pyramid, food circle, and that's completely okay. We get them in touch with our dietitian to get that education, and then based on their personal goals, we then give them an estimated caloric intake. We try not to go with you have to hit this amount of calories and only this amount of calories every single day, because it feels very rigid. They typically do a lot better when you give them a little bit more fluidity. And it also depends, going back to your SMART goals that we did at our previous interview, it depends on what their goals are. Weight loss versus weight gain versus body recomposition all require different percentages of the macronutrients and may require adjustment of the calories depending on how quickly they're trying to achieve said goals.
Okay, so somebody's wanting to get these goals. There's that balance between caloric intake and their activity levels. So what steps do you have to try to balance that or improve it?
Ooh, okay. So in terms of calorie intake, before we even look at, okay, you have to measure everything out with a measuring cup or a food scale, I ask my patients this. I want you to just, in a food journal, electronic or pen and paper, just write down what you eat. Just write a brief description around what time of the day you're eating what, and estimate your quantity. And then, if you're comfortable, weigh yourself once a day so we get an average. Some people are okay with that, some aren't. And if they're not okay with that, we try to find some other form of objective measurement that we can do on a somewhat routine basis to check and see if you intake this amount of food, this is the weight that typically corresponds with it. In terms of activity, going back to what we said in the SMART goals, if an activity or something that they're able to incorporate into their lives are enjoyable, they're more likely to do it.
Right.
So pick an activity that you like, whether it's strength training, yoga, Pilates, running, whatever you like. Do that, and do that on a consistent basis, not for the assumption that you're going to lose weight with that activity, but because it gives you plenty of benefits that physical exercise does, and it also helps with your weight management as a whole.
Okay.
All right.
You got that?
I got that. And if you didn't, DVR it next time, because I know it's a lot to take in. But really good points here, especially at the top of the year when everybody's trying to get healthy. Dr. Pranam, thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you again, guys. Appreciate it.